I don't really understand whose idea it was to fucking invent V-necks, but clearly people buy them. I bought them, I guess, or my mom bought them, but they're fucking ugly as shit, and I kind of hate them. Um, right now, have the all black fit on right now. You can't see this fucking. See, this is why it's not good to have film a fucking video in your bathtub, but you can see my ass there. It's black, but all black fit. I'm going to my brain dead fucking job after this, so that's why. Um, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I'm there for the paycheck and that's it. But after I get the bread up, after I save, I could go traveling, which makes it all worth it. But what am I here to talk to you about? I think I'm done. I think I'm done trying to commercialize art, my art specifically. I don't want to cater to an algorithm. I don't want to fucking have to make compromises on something that I want to create. I just want to create. And I think we get trapped into this world or into this idea that um, as an artist, you have to be successful. You have to make a lot of money. You have to you have to make art your entire life. You have to make it a job. Like if you're an artist, that art should be your path. Like art should be you should make art your job. You should be wanting to make a living off your art. And I think that is fantastic. I think that could go so many places, and I think it's certainly a dream worth pursuing. But I don't think we should be putting this label of if you want to be an artist or if you consider yourself an artist, you have to have the desire to make your art your job, make it your occupation, and make it your entire life, you know? Um, and I think that could lead people such as myself down a dangerous rabbit hole where you connect your self-worth with your art, and if you're not as good as you'd like to be, or if something didn't turn out the way you wanted it to, um, it just fucks up everything spiritually. You're just like, art becomes a job. Like it becomes that thing that you dread, that thing that I'm dreading going to after this. um, and I think that's such a terrifying thought that could happen to me, where I just one day just fall out of love with art. And yeah, that's not gonna happen for me because I'm not going anywhere near that realm, um, because I don't have to. I don't have to. I think this hyper competitive, um, exclusive club of successful artists um, isn't inherent to the nature of art. It isn't um, natural for the artistic process for being an artist. I think this hyper competitive nature of, you know, I'll use like Whiplash as an example, or Fucking name any movie, you know, like Whiplash kind of movie, um, where you know, upon rewatching that film several times, it's one of my favorite of all time, if not my favorite. I've realized that um, Neiman, he did not pursue drumming, and he did not go to Schaefer because he loved music, because he loved drumming. He did it because he wanted to be the best. He did it for the power, for the acclaim, um, for his potential. And that is very different from pursuing your dreams because you love art and you love expressing yourself and because of how it makes you feel. Because, you know, I'm confident in my assessment with this film because after he gets expelled from Schaefer, um, he puts his drums away. He doesn't touch it. He just gets a regular job at a deli or whatever, and he doesn't even think about drumming for months until, you know, obviously the end of the movie and all that. Um, and that to me, on upon rewatching it, was the most compelling piece of evidence that he truly didn't care about music because he loved it. He cared about music because he wanted to be the best at it. Because I feel as though if he truly cared about the artistry and he had that true passion and love for art, he would still continue drumming because I don't think he would stop if he truly loved it. I think he would continue drumming. He might not have been satisfied with where he was drumming, but he would, in the very least, continue drumming. But the very fact that he put it away and didn't even look or think about drumming um, made it clear to me that it was never about that for him. And I think as artists, we have to identify which part we gravitate towards, which part we align ourselves with. Are you pursuing art because you want to be the best? You want the acclaim, you want the success, you want the money, you want the fame? Or are you pursuing art because it's what you truly love and you're passionate about? And it could certainly be the case that it's both. That's certainly a possibility, and I feel like that is the case for most people. But I think for me specifically, I don't care about being the best. I don't care about even being successful to a degree. I just want to make shit to make shit, you know? I just love creating. I love being a part of things. I love collaborating with other artists. And I feel for that, I don't have to be the best at it. I want to be proficient, of course. I want to be good. I want to be excellent. But I don't have to be the best. And for me, wanting to be the best in the past has only led me astray, has only taken me further from my goals because I made music such a monumental task and had such high expectations for myself that I didn't even start. I didn't even try. But now that I've acknowledged the fact that I don't need to be the best to be happy and to fulfill myself spiritually, I have come so much farther than I ever have in my entire life. And within the past year, I've contributed an astronomically amount more than I ever have to music and created so much more than I've ever had because I've let go. I've let go of the need to be the best, to be a certain way, you know. And I think once you reconcile that with yourself, once you acknowledge if you're on one side or the other or in the middle and how far you're willing to go for that, I think once you have that conversation with yourself, I think that's when you can truly propel as an artist and truly excel, both technically, skill wise, and, you know, I think you just feel better about it, you know. And that's what I've decided. I'm not gonna make anything because I feel like I should make it. I'm not gonna make anything that somebody else wants. I'm not going to make anything because I think it'll have some success or something. I'm gonna make it if I want to make it, and that's my gonna be my only like barometer of success for me is if I want to make it and I made it, then I succeeded. And it's as simple as that. If I want to make something and I actually make it, I succeeded. It doesn't matter how it came out, what the outcome was, how many followers I got from it, by posting it on social media. Um, None of that shit fucking matters to me. What matters is if I wanted to make something and I created it. I actually fulfilled it, you know, without compromising my artistic integrity, you know. Um, and that just feels so good. That just feels so fucking good for me. Um, and I'm so excited about it, and that's how I know this is the right decision. This is the correct decision for me. Um, and that's also why I've decided not to make art my job, not to make art my entire life. Um, because I don't want to lose that magic, that passion for it. And I'm sure there's ways where you can make it your job and you can pursue it and still have that love for it. Um, and I'm sure many people have done that before. So don't take this as a case against you pursuing something greater. Don't take this as, like a pessimistic view on chasing your dreams. Because this is not that at all. What I'm saying is that you have to really have an honest conversation with yourself and decide if whether that's actually what you want or that's what you've been told you need. You know, I'm gonna become an English professor. Well, that's the current plan. The current plan is to become an English professor and to have that my job and to influence people because I've always wanted to influence people and inspire people, and I think this is a fantastic way to do it. If not with my art, then through education. And one of the other pros of that profession is the copious amounts of time off that we get. Summers off, vacations for, Christmas, spring, all that. Um, and that gives me ample time to pursue my passions and pursue art and do the things that I want to do while also working a job that I love, working on something that provides income and also gives something to society, while also allowing me to do what I want to do. I keep on having this, like, I guess, fantasy, or as I'd like to acknowledge it as a premonition of me in my 50s, um, at my teaching job, at a university or wherever I am, and you know, on a Friday coming home from class or whatever, teaching my last class, and on Friday going home, picking up my instrument, and going to a local club and jamming out and playing there. And I think to myself, why can't I have both? Why can't I have a normal life and have a family and raise kids and still be extremely active in the arts? You know, I don't want to be famous, so why should I sacrifice my anonymity for something that I don't even want, you know? But that image of me playing at a local bar, playing my songs, you know, even if there's like 5 people in the audience, like after getting off school and teaching my classes, that image is just like, that's my North Star right now, you know. Um, that's what keeps me going, and that's why I'm so content and grateful for where I am, because I don't need to make enormous sacrifices to be happy. And I think for some people are they are unfortunate that what they want and what they truly desire requires an enormous amount of sacrifice. And I'm incredibly fortunate that to be truly happy for me, I don't need to sacrifice much of anything besides my time and dedication and effort. Um, I think this is a tiny bit tangential, but I wanted to elaborate more on the hyper competitive and exclusive nature of, you know, the art scene and the entertainment industry, whether it be film, you know, Hollywood, or trying to make it into a gallery or anything of that nature, and how it relates to modern social attitudes towards contemporary art. Because I think there is a unfortunately a popular attitude amongst non-artists, and even certainly some artists, about contemporary art that is ultimately damaging to the world of art in its totality. I'll take I forget the name and the artist specifically, but I think it's called The Joker. That painting, or the painting, not a painting. It's that piece of contemporary art where with the banana just taped to the wall, and that's it, and that's the piece, and it sells for $2 million or however much fucking money. Um, People always look to those kinds of artworks or artworks like it, and they say, "Oh, well, that's easy. Anybody could do that. How is that worth $2 million?" Or anything like that. And there's so many other examples of people like just a shade of blue, just one singular shade of blue in a square, you know, on a canvas. And people will be like, "This, how is this art? You know, this is nothing. I could do this, you know." And I think that attitude is symptomatic of capitalism trying to infiltrate the art scene and infiltrate art, because within capitalism we are trained to be hyper competitive, and in capitalism there's always a winner and a loser, always. You're If you're making money, you're taking it from somebody else. Winner and loser, that's one of the core fundamentals of capitalism. And I think for capitalists, art just fucking baffles their mind. I think it just fucking makes their brain explode because art is so antithetical to the capitalist ideology. Because within art, it's not about being better. It's not about being the best, making the best fucking painting or a better painting than somebody else made. It's all within its own world, you know? There is no other, like, fucking competitor. It's just you. It's just the self expressing itself. Um, and I think that's so baffling to capitalists that they create this way, and they spread this propaganda about having to be a better artist, more technically skilled, because that's the only way that they can see value. That's the only way they can estimate the value of something like art, which is such a perverse way of exploring the world of art. And I think ultimately, by saying, the message is that if art is easy to create and is simple, then it is bad. And I think that is a very, very dangerous ideology. I think that's a very dangerous idea, because art is not meant to be judged on its merit. Art is can't be a meritocracy. It just doesn't make sense that way. It's not supposed to be. Um, the idea that they're trying to push is that the more technically skilled, the more difficult something is, the more valuable it is, which doesn't make any fucking sense, because then the greatest artist in the world would just be the most technically skilled and the most fucking um, direct, the most. I'm trying to find the correct word. I don't know what the opposite of abstract is. I know there's a word for it, but these the artists that we love and the artists that we celebrate don't give a fuck about technical ability. They are technical masters. Yes, of course. They know colors. They know skill. They know, and this applies across all mediums. But even though they have mastered this, they choose abstraction. They choose to paint fucking what looks like just paint splattered on the fucking wall, on the canvas, you know? And I think that's the difference between an amateur who's trying to defraud the art scene and pass his work for something greater than it actually is, and a true abstract contemporary artist. Um, but I think that nuance is lost among uh, this capitalist idea and these capitalists. And I think it's very dangerous. I think it's a very dangerous idea to toss around. And I think it all ties back into that hyper competitive nature. And it has made art something to be good at, to something to achieve, rather than just something that we do naturally. And I think that is a miss, um, a disservice to humanity. And I'm not the first person to say this. If you're familiar with, if you've been on social media in the art world and in social media, you know what quote I'm referring to, what I just paraphrased just now. But I don't, we don't think about how can I be a better breather? How can I be the best breather there is? You just fucking breathe. And that's how I think about art, and that's how I want to think about art, and I think that's how we're supposed to think about art. Is it's just something that we do. We just do it. It's an expression. It's an extension of ourselves. We just exist. We are. We don't have to justify our existence, although many do or try to. We don't have to justify our existence because we just exist. And art should be the same way because art is an extension of that. It's an extension of ourselves. So trying to be a better breather or the best breather makes no sense when the natural function is to breathe. And I think I just want to breathe. I don't care about anything else. I just want to express. I want to express what I want to express, and I will. I will. I'm not gonna let anything stop me. This isn't me saying, "Oh, just make art your hobby. Art is a hobby." Fuck that, bro. Art is a way of life. This isn't putting art on the on you know, in the back seat. This is making it more important because it's not something you're not separating from yourself anymore. It just is you. So it's not you making it a hobby. It's not you putting less effort into it. It's just you're becoming more in tune with your natural expression, and that's the distinction there. I'm not giving up on art. This isn't giving up on art. This is not an excuse for you to give up on art. Please put the same amount of effort into it, into your work, into your expression. You need to. It's for you. It's for this is what you need to do. But what I'm saying is that you don't need to be the best. You don't need to think about breathing to breathe. And I hope that finds you somewhere.